The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That was a great evening. I'm so glad you guys are still with us. I'm actually very excited tonight to introduce my great friend. Speaking of environments and people that have really impacted your life, I actually just got to spend some time with her in the Northwest here this last weekend, talking about how many great people impact your lives and the environment you get to be in. My good friend, Patty Glick, and actually talking about her leaving a leptogenic environment. You know, Patty, you used to be in the healthcare environment, and you left that because you noticed that you were able to create a leptogenic environment for other people outside of the clinic. So I'm very excited for her to be sharing that. I'm going to turn it over to her, and thank you guys for tuning in. I'm excited to hear you, Patty.
Well, hey, thank you so much, Brad. And we are going to just do a little screen share here. Do you want to stop your screen? There we go. Awesome. So, hey, thanks, Brad. Great Habits of Health webinar tonight. Are your pens on fire, y'all, from just writing? It's crazy. So I am so excited to get to spend a little bit of time with you all here tonight. And we're going to talk about something that gets me just a little bit fired up and get a little bit excited. I've got three amazing coach partners that are going to be joining us here tonight. And what we're really going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about what it might look like to really pay this gift forward and join our coaching team. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story as we get rocking and rolling. But let me get my PowerPoint started here and let's get going. Before we get started, I want you all to chime in down in the chat and share with me what is one of the biggest things that coaching has impacted your life. How has coaching impacted your life? What has it done for you? Or maybe you're not a coach yet and you're on here because you're checking us out. So how would you say that coming into our OPTAVIA community has really impacted your life? Because when I think about who we are and what it is that we do, we're actually a community of people who are so like-minded and coming together because we all have a big mission. And that big mission is to help people to live a bigger, greater life. So let me share with you a little bit about my story. You know, my story began 11 years ago. And I married to my husband, Mike, here in the picture. You can see our children who are grown, and we are so blessed to have two beautiful grandchildren, Hudson and Parker. Shout out to them. But, you know, I had a very busy OBGYN practice. And one of the things that I began to find after time was that I was losing myself. I was working long hours. I was unhealthy. I was tired, and I wasn't making a difference. We were up to our eyeballs in debt. I felt like Mike and I had done everything right. Mike was a landscape contractor. He had his own business. We were doing what we were supposed to do. But what we were finding is that our life seemed to be slipping away. Lack of meaning and purpose, fatigue, certainly lack of health. As a healthcare provider, I felt like I was swimming upstream. Dr. Anderson talks about that a lot. I felt like I went into healthcare because I wanted to be able to have a vehicle to help others live a healthier life, to have a high quality, to be able to enjoy time with their family. But what I found was that what I was doing was no longer serving others. It wasn't serving my patients, and it wasn't serving me. I was tired all the time. I had pretty much given up that I could ever get healthy. You know, I sat there in a white coat, and I told my patients what they needed to do. And the reality is every visit that they came back to, they were heavier and heavier. They were sicker and sicker, and their quality of life was declining. I wasn't helping me. I wasn't helping my patients. I wasn't living the life that I thought that I had gone to school for and created a very busy practice to be able to enjoy. And then I got inspired by a really dear friend. I watched Lori and her husband Robert get healthy. I watched them not only lose weight, but I watched them come back to life again. And so I started thinking, what if that could be me? Could I find the courage one more time to try? And so I did. And as I started getting healthy, that's when the pieces of the puzzle really came together. Because what I really found next was why my level of dissatisfaction was growing in my practice. Why wasn't I making a difference? Why weren't my patients getting healthy? It's because we were in the wrong structure. You know, Brad talked a little bit on the Zoom before this about structure. I was functioning within a medical model instead of being in a place where I could really help people to transform their life. So fast forward, here I am 11 years later, living an incredibly healthy lifestyle. And what I also have is I have the ability to live a life of abundance. The OPTAVIA community gave me abundance in terms of my health. It gave myself and my family abundance in terms of time. It gave us abundance in terms of meaning and purpose. And it gave us abundance in terms of finances. We now get to live the life that I went to school. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, but many years ago, I went to school and I thought that that path I was on was going to help me to have a vehicle to help others live their best life. The reality is I had my ladder up the wrong tree. The good news is I began to realize that in order for things to change, things need to change. So I am so excited that I made the decision, Mike and I together, to choose health for ourselves. And I'm super excited that we made the decision to join the coaching team because together we're leaving an impact and we're having so much fun doing it. My daughter in this picture here is also a health coach. And instead of, her children being raised in daycare like she was, she now gets the ability to be a stay-at-home mom. So I want to spend a little bit of time with you tonight and visit a little bit about who we are and what we're doing. Dr. Anderson is our medical director and co-founder. You know, what I love about Dr. A is that he has a vision. He's a visionary, and what he saw was a different path. The difference is that he envisioned what that path in which coaching was going to look like, and he created our OPTAVIA community. And so what he envisioned was a healthier world, a place where people were physically healthy, where they were enjoying life with themselves and their family, but they were also focusing every day around the things that mattered most. So we are talking about lifelong transformation. We're talking about creating one healthy habit at a time. I'm not talking about a diet that you go on and you start and stop, or you find the courage for a little bit to do, but I'm talking about coming into a community. And in this community, we get to lift each other up. We get to partner with others. And there is no bigger blessing. There is no bigger reward of the heart that I have ever received, even in all my years of healthcare. Health and health coaching totally trumps that. Y'all, we know we've got a health epidemic in the United States, and we know that the obesity and the overweight epidemic is going up. People are sicker. They're having an increasing decline in their quality of life. They're taking more and more medications. They're not living their best life. They're hanging on by a thread. They're barely surviving. They're not happy. But the reality is, you all on this Zoom, you know what the other path can be. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about. I know that when I came into OPTAVIA as a client, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. I wanted to shout it because I found those missing pieces. And then when I became a coach and I realized the even bigger gift that I had in my hand, I wanted to shout that from the rooftops as well. So we're going to talk very briefly about our 4 components. And you know, this is really important to me because in my practice, my patients came in to me to get healthy. But the reality is I had the wrong model. I had the wrong structure to do it because I did it like a healthcare provider. But what I found through the genius of Dr. Anderson and our OPTAVIA community is they got it all going on because a one-on-one personal health coach, a habits of health education system, an amazing community that lifts people up, and an individualized meal plan. These are the 4 pieces that nobody else has. These are the 4 pieces that help us to be unique and I really believe make a difference. You know, one thing about your coach, or maybe you want to think about as we're talking tonight, could this be you? And what would this look like? I would imagine that you're pretty caring and knowledgeable. You're in our community. You love the results. You love the one-on-one support. Everything that your health coach is pouring into you, what would it look like if you just paid that forward to your friends and family? How would that feel on your heart? The Habits of Health education system. I had to be a one-man show in my practice and try to teach my patients and tell them what to do. The reality was I wasn't doing it well. But imagine having that Habits of Health system at your fingertips. So as a health coach, you're tapping into that for your personal health journey. But what you're also doing is now you have the tools. You don't have to reinvent the wheel because everything is right there at your fingertips. You're learning it for yourself, and then you're learning to share that and pay that amazing gift forward. Our OPTAVIA community, this kind of blew me away. Coming from a traditional background, I knew a medical world. I didn't know a world of OPTAVIA. And in the very beginning, I thought, who are these people? They're so positive. They're so upbeat. They're so genuine and authentic. And I just thought, who are these people and what are they all about? And when I decided to let my guard down, and when I decided to embrace the community, it was then that I really found who the community of OPTAVIA was all about. I also discovered how little I knew as a healthcare provider about how to fuel my body and how little I knew about helping others. But now as a health coach, I have the knowledge that is not only helping my husband and I and our family, but I have that knowledge and the support of our community at OPTAVIA program to be able to help others to learn how to fuel their body in a healthy way. And that healthy way may not necessarily be weight loss. It might be just fine-tuning your health or optimizing your health or learning to fuel your body in a healthier way based on what your goals are. Your coach is going to be there to help guide and support you to the meal plan that is specific for you. So, y'all, I've got a couple of amazing guests on tonight. So we're going to go shoot on over to Texas. And I want to invite Matt and April to go ahead and come off mute and come on and share your story and your beautiful family.
Well, hey, you guys. Can y'all hear us okay?
You're good.
All right, awesome. Well, we are so excited to have the opportunity to come to you all tonight and share our story. So Matt is very few of words, but he will be talking a little bit. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background of us, as you can see, that's our beautiful family here. We have 2 daughters, and they were the reason that we decided to get on this journey. So our journey started off way long before. About 6 years ago, we were struggling with infertility. They're saying that they can't see us. So we were struggling with infertility and 5 years of that. And so it was through that process, the ups and downs, the physical, the mental, the emotional stress of going through that we just found ourselves in a very unhealthy place. And we ended up going through IVF and having our baby girl, Faith. But it was a very trying time for us. And I ended up putting on a whole lot of weight, got into a very unhealthy place. And my husband was right along with me. We were falling apart, had a lot of different issues, y'all. I mean, we could sit here and name them all, but I had postpartum preeclampsia. He had a lot of different issues, but really, when we were shared the story with, we had no idea. We had no idea how much it would change our lives, completely, totally. We lost 50 pounds on the program. I lost 50 pounds and Matt lost 75 pounds. All the good, wonderful things, got healthy. I got healthy. But the most important thing we did is we gained our life back with our kids. We had the energy now to do so many different things with them, but we were struggling through this whole process. Matt had been working 3 jobs for many, many years. And that's what had really caused him and us to be unhealthy financially, to be able to have our baby and go through the IVF process. But it also the physical health and the emotional, all of it. And we had no idea that when we started coaching, how much it would not only change our lives, but impact so many other people's lives. So pretty early on, I would say whenever I probably like 3 weeks into the program, I was just blown away. And I was like, oh my gosh, Matt, this is amazing. I cannot wait to share this with everybody. So we started health coaching very early on, and just the ripple effect just really just went more than we could have ever imagined. And Matt went from his 3 jobs where he was, tired all the time, coming home with very little energy. He now had the physical part of it, losing 75 pounds. I allowed him back into the bedroom because he stopped snoring. And life was just grand, but we were still struggling financially. And so the coaching part came into this at the perfect time. And so little did we know that we would be able to pay off all of our debt from infertility, all of our medical debt, and then the blessings just kept on coming. So he was able to leave not only that 3rd job, he also walked away from job number 2, and he just walked away from that final job, and he is now a full-time health coach with me. And we are fully present parents, and we get to wake up every day and just do this together. It's just amazing. It's blessed us in so many ways, and it's an incredible gift.
And for me, the getting healthy and losing 70 pounds, it was pretty amazing. But what was even better was sharing this with the other people. Seeing lives being transformed. And in return, it gave us the freedom to do what we had only dreamed of doing. To spend life with our kids as fully present parents, to create memories with them that will pass by way too quickly, and to do everything in my power to know one day I will be able to walk them down the aisle, and I will look back and have no regrets. That is the gift that OPTAVIA and health coaching has given to me.
Yeah, and it's just completely changed our lives in so many ways. We are so thankful for the gift that OPTAVIA has brought into our lives, not only physically, the mental clarity that we have, the physical, the financial blessings that we get from coaching and doing this. Every day we get to wake up and say, whose life did we get to help change today? And we get to do it together. And it's just amazing. And we absolutely have been blown away by the gift that we've been given. And now we love to just pay that forward to everyone else.
Awesome. You have such an amazing story, you guys. And it's been so fun partnering with you and just getting to know you and hear your heart and looking at lives have changed, and your 2 beautiful girls. What an absolute blessing in your life. So as we talked a little bit about in the beginning, I really think of OPTAVIA as a community that offers folks the opportunity to really live their best life. And if you think for a little bit, in fact, chime in the chat. If you could live your best life, what would that look like? What would you be doing? Where would you be? Who would you be with? Think about what that is, because really optimal health is about your best life, healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, and having the abundance in all of those areas to really live your best self. So with that said, I've asked an amazingly dear friend, Wendy, to come on tonight. Wendy's got a little bit of a different story. My entry point was my physical body and weight loss. April and Matt had the same. But Wendy's story is just a little bit different. So Wendy, can you go ahead and come off mute? And I would love to have everyone hear your story.
Oh gosh, thanks so much, Patty. And how fun is this? And yes, I'm Wendy A. Sarch. I'm coming to you from Southern California, and Patty is such a dear friend of mine. And thank you, Patty, for really changing my life. Patty's a colleague of mine, and you heard how much she was helping her patients outside of her office. And as she said, my story is quite different. It is not a weight loss story. My entry point into OPTAVIA really were my struggles with my emotional and my financial health. So my story kind of goes back about 11 years when my life was really turned upside down. I was diagnosed with cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. And the realization at that time of living our life to its fullest every day was so important that I wanted to live that life. And coming into OPTAVIA, I wanted to fine tune my eating, and yeah, I needed to gain some energy, and I did put on a few pounds with my chemotherapy that I wanted to drop. But I needed to figure out a way to get through my crazy days at my office with more energy. So you see, as Patty and I are colleagues, I've been in healthcare for 40 years. I'm a nurse practitioner by training as well, and loved helping people create that healthier life for themselves. And we know, we've all said how healthcare has changed to more of a sick care society. And like Patty, I was frustrated with that. But I was mostly frustrated with my life and not being able to live it the way I had dreamed. I married and had kids later in life, and I did want to plan for retirement one of these days, but I was way too financially stressed for that. I worked very long hours seeing patients. I was exhausted. I have two awesome sons, and my husband and I had promised both of them 4 years of college, limited it there, but we were not going to go into debt for that. And we also didn't want to take out loans, but they did choose out-of-state schools. And that was quite a stress for both of us. I also love to travel, and I was so tired about saying no to every trip that I was offered. I kind of felt guilty that I'd spend money on myself instead of putting it aside and earmarking it for college or retirement. And I didn't see any way out. I began coaching 5 years ago. Patty introduced me to this, seeing where my stress was. And of course, very quickly, I fell in love with everything that OPTAVIA had to offer. But more importantly, I loved, because at the beginning, I was seeing how my patients were getting healthier. And as they started to lose weight, their lifestyle-related issues began to improve. And then I actually started to realize that I was getting paid really well to do what I was falling in love with. So less than 1 year after beginning my health coaching, both of my kids were in out-of-state school together. That was a really big stress for me. 1 week after I dropped my youngest off at school, I took my first trip to Italy, the first of many European trips since then. And this past year, I actually retired from my medical practice just to focus on my health coaching. And I've never been happier. My entire life has flipped 180 degrees since I started coaching. My finances are better than when I was working as a nurse practitioner. I'm fulfilled knowing that I can still help people create health without writing prescriptions. And I just love our community and the support. And I feel like I have a whole new family that I never expected to have. So I just wanted to say to everyone that, you know what, there is hope. And there's a life that you dreamed of right behind those closed doors. So don't give up hope, and just take a look at what we're doing, if it's a fit for you or not, because it can change so many lives. And thanks so much, Patty, for allowing me to share.
You're so welcome, Wendy, and so thrilled to be partnering with you. You have an amazing story. And so what would be the benefits of becoming a health coach? You know, I like to think about when we come into the community at a higher level, it really reinforces our decision for our long-term health. There is nothing more rewarding than to be able to pay this gift forward. I just sort of like to think we're all going to become coaches, because we're either going to support our friends and family, refer our friends and family to our coach, or we're going to come alongside and walk alongside others and utilize the vehicle of coaching as a way to create a future, of meaning and purpose, to think about what would it look like to even augment or replace your income, and what would it look like to leave an even bigger legacy in your life. So with that said, we're going on now all the way over to Utah, and I'm super excited to invite Heather and Sam to join us tonight.
All right, thanks, Patty. Well, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to talk about how much OPTAVIA has blessed our lives. But to kind of paint the picture where we were, I go back 8 years ago, and things were a little different. We were living in California, and we had 5 young kids. Heather was a stay-at-home mom, and I had a decent job, but I was gone a lot, and it was pretty stressful. So, you know, what my days looked like is I was usually gone before the kids woke up, and most days I'd come home just in time to put them to bed. And you know, it was just, it just never seemed to end. And the sad thing was, most of the people I knew were kind of in the similar boat. Most of the guys I talked to, it sort of felt normal to live like that. You know, you got a big mortgage and you just got to work hard. we sacrificed so she could stay home, and that this was our life. And you know, it was stressful. We had ideas and thoughts of trying to get out, but it didn't seem like it was really possible. You know, we didn't really take great family vacations. We went camping because that was pretty cheap. We could take all the kids. So life was a little different. And, you know, Heather was a stay-at-home mom, and then eventually she wanted to try and help me try to bring some income in, but she was a little intimidated by that. And then she started talking about this health coaching thing. So you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so I was a little fearful about going back into even just the work world, you know, after being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. And OPTAVIA kind of fell into my lap. I was introduced to it by my parents who wanted to start the program. So my entry point to OPTAVIA was a brand new health coach and a brand new client all on the same day. So if I can do that, anybody can do it. But I was nervous. I was wondering, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing myself. But you know what? One of the first things that I learned with OPTAVIA was the amount of support and mentorship that you have. Now you have support and mentorship as a client, but when you come in as a health coach, that just skyrockets. And that amount of just community and support, I was not alone. They would say, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I had mentorship surrounded around that help me learn, guide me in becoming really the best version of myself. Because if we can't lead ourselves, it's really hard to lead others. So we're learning alongside our clients as coaches to lead ourselves, become the best we can be, and in turn help others. So I absolutely love that. And the amount of personal growth that I had, and I think we all do as coaches, was just incredible. You know, I didn't realize how much training and emphasis OPTAVIA would help us coaches with on personal growth, really developing as people. And what that has done is it's given me confidence. It's improved our marriage, the way we communicate as parents. And you know, it's just really incredible to be able to serve other people in this capacity. And the other thing that I wasn't expecting was the community of coaches. So how these people that we're surrounded with that are all working on becoming the best version of themselves, they're all striving. And we just got back from a 4-day retreat in Portland with, you know, about 160 health coaches. And we were just saying this morning, I miss them because, you know, they're just the energy there, they're uplifting, it's positive, everyone's cheering each other on. So that community was huge. I came into it to try to financially help our family, which has blown us away but these I wanted to lead with because it was something I wasn't expecting. But as far as financially, this has changed the whole course of our life. It has given us options. It's given us opportunities, time freedom. Like Sam said, we didn't take vacations. We're able to create memories with our kids. Sam left his job in California. We now do this for our living. I never thought he would coach with me, but he is. And we just feel really blessed. So if you're thinking of this at all, I encourage you just to at least ask. You don't know until you know, because it blew me away how much was included in the whole thing. So that's our story.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. You guys, thank you so much for sharing tonight. And what an absolute blessing. I know that coaching has been to you and your family, and it's so fun to partner with you. So as we're closing up here today, you know, a couple of thoughts. How would coaching work? You know what? We are a community that's really focusing on linking arms together. You know, we're in this because we're making a decision to live our best life in terms of our health, but we're also looking for more. We're looking to share this gift with others, and we're looking to live our dreams and create the dreams and be able to have a vehicle to do that. I love Heather's point is that with coaching, you have support all along the way. You have support as a client. You have the same support as a health coach, because we are all in this together to further that mission to create a healthier America in all aspects. So that coaching and mentorship training, you're going to learn as you go along. We're going to be there to guide and support you. On your health journey, we're going to guide and support you to move forward at your pace. It's one day, it's one healthy habit at a time. And when you come into the community as a coach, we're going to move you forward at your pace to create the dreams, to have the fulfillment, to serve others in the way that you choose to, with the support all along the way. So I want to take a minute as we close here tonight and just say congratulations to every one of you. You've come into this community. You're either looking and thinking, what should I do? Is this a community that I can get in alignment with? Is this a community that's going to help me to move forward in my health? And that's where it starts. It's looking at where are you and where is it that you want to go in terms of your healthy body. It's looking at, are you really living your best life in terms of meaning and purpose? Are you serving others? Are you leaving a legacy? Are you leaving an impact on the lives of others? Do you have the time to spend with your friends and family? Do you have the time to spend with your children and your grandchildren? Are you doing something every day where you know that you're making a difference? Where are you financially? Are you trading time for money? What would it look like if you could live that life of abundance and that every day you had the ability to know that you were changing the life of another, who was changing the life of another, who was changing the life of another. And as that ripple effect comes, your heart is going to be filled and you're going to have so many options available to you in your life. So I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank Heather and Sam. I want to thank Wendy, and I want to thank April and Matt. And I want to extend congratulations to every one of you for taking time out, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening recorded. Connect with the coach that shared this video with you. Have a story. Have a conversation about your story. Where are you today? Where would you like to go? Is your ladder up the right tree? In order for things to change, things will need to change. And I'm excited to meet every one of you and to hear your story one day. So thank you for joining us and have a wonderful evening. Good night.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.